Hi. So hi guys, welcome to the Linux session. Okay, Linux. I splitted this core Linux part into four, right? Into four. That means around two classes. Okay, so Linux. So in Linux, what are the topics we will discuss? We'll discuss about the introduction, why Linux, how the DevOps engineer will use this Linux. Okay. Second, we will discuss about file hierarchy, how the file structure in the Linux. Okay. The third topic we'll discuss about users and groups. Okay, how to create a user, how to create a group. Okay, so we'll discuss that. Okay, tables and types. Okay, and then we'll see files. Okay, uh, we'll discuss file hierarchy and we'll discuss about the permissions for the document, right? Files, how you'll provide it. Okay, and we'll discuss here how to create files and folders, how to manage those. We'll discuss, and we'll discuss about the again. We'll discuss about the package management, how to install a software in Linux. Okay. So, and the networking and troubleshooting. Okay, how networking and troubleshooting the issues in Linux. So, around it will take 3 hours, guys. Okay, it's split it into two classes. Okay, 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour. Okay, so yeah, let's start that Linux. So, why most of the DevOps engineers or most of the DevOps projects we are using Linux? So, the because Linux is a secure operating system. We have different operating systems, right? We have Windows, we have Mac OS, and we have Linux, right? The operating system. Whenever you start your server, whenever you boot your laptop, the operating system is loading, right? Operating system is loading, right? So right, so the operating system is loading, right? So the right, so operating system is loading, so it can be, right, anything, right? Whether you can use Windows, whether you can use Linux. But why most of the DevOps projects, right, they are using Linux? So because, as I said, the advantages, so Linux is, right, so more secure. Okay, and it is multi-user operating system. Multiple users can connect, multiple users can work on it. Okay, multiple users can work on it. Okay, so we'll call it as, right, more secure, and it is a multi-user operating system. Multitasking, multiple users can connect, right, and they can do multiple tasks as well at a time. Multitask, right, multitasking operating system. Okay, the very important advantage is it is open source. That means anyone can download, anyone can install it. Okay, that's the main reason, right? That's the main thing in DevOps project. Okay, so right, so there are different types of Linux. There are different types. We can call it as flavors. We can call it as flavors of Linux. Okay, so we have Red Hat flavor. This is one of the type. You know how Windows we have 2012, 2016, 2019, right? Right. Similarly, right? So, right, the Red Hat operating system. The Red Hat is one of the flavor, and we have, right. CentOS is one of the flavor. Okay, Red Hat, CentOS, and we have, okay, Amazon Linux, Amazon Linux. Okay, right, so etc. So we have Ubuntu as well. This is one of the type. Okay, so we'll see all these in our classes. Okay, so how to utilize it. Okay, these are different types, or we can call it as layers. Okay, the main advantages, right, of DevOps, right, as I said, open source, more secure, multi-user, multitasking, right? The only thing people are uncomfortable with the commands, right? So because there is a black screen, right? So I would say Linux, right, is a CLI, right? CentOS, etc. It's a CLI, right? Most of the people are not, right? Uh, right, feeling that it is a CLI, and Windows is a GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. You can see these, you can click on it, right? You can comfortable with that. But here in Linux, the problem you're facing, like sometimes, right? So commands, right? CLI, command line interface, commands, right? So, but if you are interested, if you are right, uh, interested to learn commands, which is very very easy. If you want to install anything in Windows, it will take around multiple clicks, right, to install. But Linux is a simple command. Okay, there is a simple command to right install it. Single command. Okay, so that is the main advantage. So people are comfortable with uncomfortable with the commands, but if you are have ease to interest, right, interest to learn this is very very easy. Okay, which is very very easy. Okay, so yeah, that is the main advantage. That is the main advantage of Linux. Okay, so right, so what I will do, I want you guys to create your AWS account. If not, please create it. Okay, please create the AWS account. I already showed you, right? So please create your AWS account. Okay, and we can use AWS account, right? I connected to it, so I can use EC2 is one of the service. Okay, virtual servers in the cloud. So I will create a Linux server. Okay, so I will show how it will, right, how to right, how to work with that. Okay, so but you have to know the architecture as well. Linux architecture. Okay, architecture, right? So the Linux architecture is, okay, the Linux architecture is having three important components. Three important components, let's see that. Consider this is your laptop. Consider this is your laptop. Okay, consider this is your laptop, right? So hardware. Okay, this is your hardware. This is your laptop hardware. Okay, so this is your laptop hardware. Okay, so whenever you install Linux, there is a layer is installed called kernel layer. This is heart of your Linux operating system. Okay, so whenever you install Linux in your hardware, the kernel layer is installed, and above the kernel layer there is a shell layer is running. Okay, and so this is shell layer. Okay, this is shell layer. Okay, so right, so on top of the right, whenever you connect Linux, there is a black screen, right? So we'll call that is a shell. On top of the shell, you will execute your commands, you will execute your applications, you will create your files, right? Multiple things you will. Okay, so the main important, the heart of the Linux is kernel, and the shell where you will execute the commands. The architecture will be like this. So there will be a hardware. On top of the hardware, kernel layer is running. On top of the kernel, right, the shell layer is running, right? So this is the right architecture and introduction. So we'll see how the file structure. In Windows, right, you have a C drive. In the C drive, you have uh, logs, right, Windows users. But similarly, how the file hierarchy of Linux, we'll see that. So could you please note this down? I will give some 5 minutes. Just note this down. Okay, I hope you drawn the diagram as well. So let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. So we have, right? I connected to AWS account. Let me launch a server. Let me click on launch instances. So number of servers, I want one server, right? The server name, I would say Linux server. Okay. And there are multiple flavors offered by AWS. We have, this is your OS selection, right? OS, you can select here. If you want Amazon Linux, in Amazon Linux there are different versions again. 2023, right? Two, right? So, right, right. So, right. So, and we have Red Hat, we have SUSE Linux, okay, and right. So, and we have Ubuntu, right? In Ubuntu we have different types, right? Ubuntu Pro, right? And we have Red Hat. In Red Hat we have different flavors, okay, okay, right? So we have different types, we have different flavors, right? So and right, so let me go with any type. I will go with Amazon Linux, okay. So Linux, right, is an operating system, right? In Linux we have, right, as I said, different flavors, right? So if you want to connect to a Linux server, there is a port should be opened called SSH. We will call it as secure shell port. We'll call it as 22. This port needs to be open. If you see, I'm going with 1 GB RAM and I'm going with a password as a file. Okay, I'm going with the test user. Okay, so the networking. So the networking, right? So so here, what happened? The VPCs by mistake deleted someone. So let me go to other region. Okay, okay. I think it will be good here. So why she deleted everything? Okay, let me log out and let me sign into the account. Okay, okay, I just connected. So let me go to EC2. Okay, let me go to EC2. Let me go to instances. Okay, so here, okay, no issue. So let's create a server, launch instance, one server. Okay, name is some Linux server. Amazon Linux I want to create 1 GB RAM server and I would like to use the existing key pair. Okay. Yeah, it's a Linux server. The 22 port should be opened as I said, right? So by default, the 22 port gets opened, right? So this is SSH 22 port, SSH 22 port. Okay, right. Uh, yeah. So anyway, let me click on next. 8 GB the hard disk. Okay. Let me launch the server. Okay. We go to instances. Okay, right. So let me refresh. You can see the server. It is in running state. Okay, it is in running state. So let me connect. As I said, there are multiple methods to connect to Linux server, right? So you can use putty, you can use git bash, right? So methods to connect to Linux server. We have right. We have putty, we have git bash, and we have instance connectivity. We have instance connectivity. Okay. So here we have right here we have the instance connectivity. I will show you. So just select the server. If you want to connect to Linux, click on connect, right? Instance connectivity. I'm connecting as a EC2 hyphen user. This is the public IP address. Let me connect to it. Let me connect to it. Okay. Yeah. So here this is a welcome message and this is your username. I can as a EC2 hyphen user. This is the DNS name. This is a login prompt. Okay, this is a user prompt like dollar. Okay, so you can see this information here. What is this? Let's see. We note down here. Whenever you connect to a Linux server, this EC-user is a username. User name. This is your DNS name, or we can call it as FQDN, fully qualified domain name. This is a user symbol. Okay, user symbol. So in Linux, there are two types of users: normal user and a super or root user. So normal user will not have full permission. Root or super will have full permission. They can do anything at server level, right? Full permission. Okay. Here restricted permissions. Okay, restricted. If you want, we can allow it. Okay, restricted. So normal users, the super user and the normal user. As I said, two users, right? So super and normal. So here normal user symbol is dollar and the root user symbol is hash. Root user symbols are hash. Okay, normal user symbol is dollar, right? Super user or root user is right full permission, which is having hash, which is having hash. Okay, but right now I connect as a EC2 hyphen user. How would I know? There is a command, guys. Who am I? You can see which user you are. EC2 hyphen user. But how I can connect a as a root user? You can use sudo su. This is a command. Sudo su. So you can see now we connect as a root user, right? What is the command? It is we'll call it as sudo su, right? That means switching user as a super user. Okay, we'll call it as sudo su. Switch user as a super user, right? So right, switch user as a super user, right? So as I said, right, as I said, consider this is Windows, this is Linux. So Linux port should be open. Which port? 22. Then only you can connect. We call it as SSH port, right? Secure shell. If it is a Windows, there is a port should be open 3388. That is nothing but RDP port. We call it as remote desktop. Remote desktop port. Okay. We'll call it as RDP. We'll call it as SSH. So can I just note down this? We'll see. Okay, I hope you have written, right? So we will see, right? We can see that in Windows, the user is admin user. In Linux, the admin here, the super user, right? They can do anything, right? So, right, in Windows, there is admin user. He will have full permission. In Linux, there is a root user, right? I switched to root user using this command. Now I can check which user I am, root. My symbol also changed, you can see, hash, it is dollar, right? So, right, so Linux and Windows, for example, in Windows, we have the C drive, right? We will call it as C drive. In Linux, we'll call it as a slash drive, okay, slash disk or slash drive, okay. So in Windows, you can see that right here you can see, right, the C drive, right. But in Linux, how to see that? In Linux, how to see that? In Linux, if you want to see that, okay, there is a command, okay, called def hyphen h, disk free df disk free, right? How much disk is free with the headers, okay, you can see that if you see. And also in instance level also you can see, if you see that this is your Linux server and your storage is 8, and your storage is 8 GB, okay, the storage is 8 GB, okay. And here if you see this is df-h, right, df-h, and you can run that command df-h, you can see the remaining are temporary devices, guys. Just concentrate on the slash folder attached to disk. This is your disk name, file system name, slash dev xpda1, 8 GB is total size, free, right, used is 1.6, and availability is 6.5, 19% is used on which folder? Slash folder, on the slash folder, right. So as I said, right, slash drive is the main drive. How we have your Windows C drive having users, right, folders, different for users, Windows, right. Similarly, if you want to see the files in a slash folder, you can use ls command, ls slash. What will happen? It will show you files under this slash folder. What are the files under? Out of the folders under that? Win, boot, devices, etc, home, right. So different files and folders are there in that. We'll call this is a hierarchy, file hierarchy. So here you can see bin folder, you can see boot folder, you can use device folder. So if you want to see files under again bin folder, you can use ls slash under bin folder is there. Let's see what are the files. These all are under files under boot folder, right. If you want to know your previous command, up arrow, okay. And if you want to see the files under boot folder, ls slash boot. The ls is a command in Linux which helps you to list the files, So, or if you want to know your full list, for example, ll is long list with full details. When it is created, you can see that. If you see ll, earlier you can see bin, boot, same folders, but here with ll long list, you can see full information, the permissions, right? Which user created, which group is running with this date, right? Like, okay, like this, okay, which is there like this, okay. So the date, the permissions, the size of the file, okay, uh, right? The size of the file, which user created, which group is created, right, and the date and the time, right, you can see that, okay. So we'll call it as we'll call it as l, yes, right. Ls is for short list, ll is for long list. And what are the files under that? We have bin, we have boot, we have dev, right. If you want particular folder information, you can use ll slash bin or slash boot, okay. So these are the list of files. We can call it as file hierarchy in Linux. Okay. Each folder will have its own uniqueness. You can see bin folder will have the user binary files. Boot folder will have the static files of booting. Dev folder will have device related files. etc folder host information. We'll see all this in the course. Okay. Home folder will have user home directories. Okay, that means ec2-user folder. You can see. For example, if I create a user add some Rashid. If you see, there is a Rashid folder get created. Earlier it is not there, but why it is created? I added that user. That user folder is created. Under which folder? Home. So each folder will have its own uniqueness. So lib folder will have the libraries. So media folder will have the removable media like pen drive or extra devices. MNT will have a mounted file system. Will have a mounted file system. OPT will have additional softwares, optional. SBIN system binaries, right? SRV, okay. So service related files, temp related files, user related files, right? Process related files. So each file which will have its own uniqueness. Okay. So I will share the material guys with you. Okay. So this is about right the each folder uses. Just note down the file's name at least. Just note down folder names. Just note down. I give some 2 to 3 minutes. So yeah, that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let me launch a Linux server for right for today's Linux class. So Linux server, I want to create it. Okay. So I can go for any server, Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, right? So these are all the flavors, right, of Linux, right? Yesterday we have seen that, right? So Amazon Linux, so 64-bit architecture, right? So I want 1 GB RAM. Okay. So let me create a queue pair called okay, Linux server. Okay, we are opening the port called SSH. Okay, and 8 GB storage and launch it. 8 GB hard disk and launch the server. You all instances. Right? Reload it. Yeah, let me reconnect to the server AWS account again. Right, this is our Linux server. Let's connect to it. Yeah, so as of today, right? So Linux architecture we have seen. So what is Linux? What are the different flavors of Linux, right? So we have seen yesterday, right? So what is normal user? What is root user? So let's understand, right? Yesterday we have seen file hierarchy as well. Let's see files and folders. Let's see files and folders. Okay, how to create a file, how to create a folder in Linux. So I connected to a Linux server. Let me become the root user. Which user I am currently? How to know that? Here you can see EC2-user. This is a welcome message. Right? This is the IP. Right? Let's become the root user. Who am I? You can see that which user you are. EC2-user. How to become a root user? You can use, right? You can use sudo switch user do as a super user. Right? Right? So right. Yes. So let's become the root user. We are a become user, right? Root user now. I'm a root user, right? So yes. Okay. So how to know that? How to know that? You can use who am I, right? Okay. Right. So right. So let's see how to create a file and how to create a folder, right? So so we have currently which folder. So in Windows, you're in which folder by using by using for example, right, you can use by using the here, right? So similarly, if you want to see in Linux, there is a command, guys, pwd, present working directory. Which command? Pwd, present working directory. You know which directory you're currently in, right? Present working directory, we'll call it as present working directory. Okay. So right, so we have to that present working, which directory you're currently in, right? So present working at PWD, right? So anyway, so currently you're in which location? Home EC2-user folder. Under home EC2-user folder you're currently in. So if you want to know, right, what are the files in your current location, as I said yesterday, ls list files or ll, right? That means currently EC2-user folder not having any files or folders, right? ls ls is for long list, ls is for short list. Okay, ll long list, ls ll is long list, ls is short list, right? So short This is alright. So you can view the files. Okay. So if you want to create a file or if you want to create a folder, there are commands, guys. Touch command which help you to create a folder. For example, I want to create a folder called some Ravi. Okay. So if you want to create a folder, there is a command mkdir directory, make a directory. We can say folder or we can say directory. Okay. So you can say folder or we can say directory. So right, any name is fine. So mkdir folder name, for example, India. Okay, if you see, if you want to create a file, touch file name. You can see ls file is created. Earlier nothing, right? If you want to create a folder, mkdir India. So India right folder Ravi file is created. And if you want to know that, you can use. If you want to know see more information, you can see LL is for long list, right? This is folder, this is file. Some information you can see that, right? What is that? Let me put it in the notepad, right? So here, the first letter. Whenever you see first letter D, it's a directory. Whenever you see first letter D means it's a directory, it's a folder. Okay, you can identify it's a folder. India is a folder. Whenever you see first letter hyphen, there is a file. File, okay. The first letter hyphen means it's a file. First letter D means it's a directory. Okay. The file or folder, you can identify that, right? File or folder, right? The next thing, what is the next thing? The next thing is permissions. The next thing is permissions. Okay. So these are, I would say, permissions. Okay. Permissions. Okay. And this is we will call it as inode number. Inode number. Okay. 2, 1, right? And this is, we'll call it as which user created this, which user created this file, username, which group can access this is group related. Here group is root, user is root. What next? Next is size. What is the size? 6 KB, size in KB. Okay. Okay. So the folder India size is 6 KB. Ravi file is 0. Why? Because I created touch, right? Touch will help you to create empty file. Okay. And this is nothing but date and time. Okay. Date and time. And finally, name of the file or name of the folder, right? So we have, this is, we are good, right? So now, right? So this is the thing we will understand, which is, right, what are the permissions, what are the, right? So for example, I want to go to India folder. I'm currently under where, right? I am currently under slash home slash ec type of news. If I want to go to India folder, now I can use cd command, right? Cd India folder. If you want to know that where you are, you can say pwd. You're under home ec2 hyphen user, right? So it's India, right? India folder, right? So home ec2 hyphen user India. Right? Pwd is a command, right? And cd is a command to go to a particular folder, right? If you want to know that. If you want to go back one step, I mean currently I'm in home ec2 hyphen user India. If I want to go to one step back, ec2 hyphen user folder, you can use cd dot dot cd dot dot. Whenever you use cd dot dot, you will back to one step back. If you want to go two steps back, cd dot dot slash dot dot. Okay, like if you want to go to particular folder like slash bin, you can use slash bin. Okay, like so. This is how you move one step back, right? So anyway, so let me clear the screen. Clear is a command. I can use history to see list of run commands. I can see date. I can see my system time. Okay, so we can use clear is a command, history is a command, right? Uh, right. So you can use that, right? So we have time command, we have date command, right? Anyway, right? So anyway, let me clear it again. So here I have India folder, I have Ravi folder. What is the files under India? You can see nothing. What I will do, I want to rename this Ravi folder to, for example, some Kumar. Okay, how to rename it? MV Ravi with another name, for example, Kumar. Now, if you see, it is changed. So MV can help you in two occasions. Okay, in two cases. One is you can move it also. MV, if you mention Kumar and a folder name, for example, India. If you mention MV with file name with another file name, it will change. If you mention MV with file name and a folder name, it will move. Is it there, Kumar? No. But where it is? Under India. Right? MV will help you in renaming the file and also moving the file name and a folder. Right? For example, so I have one more folder locally, for example, touch H5. I have H5. I want to move, copy this. I don't want to move. Okay. I want to keep my Hyderabad file in current location, EC-user, also India folder. Right. How to move that? You can see India folder as in Kumar. Currently, I have Hyderabad file. CP command, CP Hyderabad to India. Now, if you see, locally it is there. In India folder also it is there. So CP is a command to move, right? To copy file from one location to another location, right? So, for example, if you want to delete a file, if you want to delete a file, so you can delete it by using rm file name. If you want to delete a folder, you can use rmdir file name. Okay, for example, here I have India file. Let me delete it. RM Hyderabad file. Yes, I want to delete. Delete. If you want to delete, yeah, I have one more folder. Like for example, uh, mkdir UK. So UK folder nothing, no files in that. But if India folder, two files. If you want to delete folder, you can use rmdir UK. It is deleted. If you want to delete a files with right, folder with files, for example, India is not empty. India folder having some files. If you want to delete it, you will get here. So how to delete it? First of all, you need to delete these files and delete the folder. But what will be the problem if you have 100 files? It will take time. How to overcome this? There is a command, guys, rm-r and a folder. You are deleting recursively. That means first you are deleting Kumar file, Hyderabad file, finally India file. You can see that. So rm -r folder name. Okay. So you can delete a folder, you can create a folder. You are good with that, right? Right. So we have to, right. So these are the commands. But how to edit a file? Edit the file. How to enter information to the file? Right. So, for example, touch uh, some Pratiksha. There is a file called Pratiksha. It's an empty file. If you want to see that, Pratiksha file is zero, right? So If you want to see the information in that Pratiksha file, cat command. Is there any information? Nothing, right? If you want to know which OS you are, you can use a file, guys. etc os-release. Which OS is Amazon Linux? Which flavor it is? Amazon Linux, right? Then 2023 version. If you want to know your file information, right, within that, you can use cat command to see the information. But if you want to add a information to a file, you have to use a editor, file editor. We will call it as editor. Okay. So there are many editors in Linux. VI editor, Nano editor. Okay. So most commonly used editor is VI. So VI editor, using VI editor, okay, using VI editor, right? You can, right? You can edit a file. You can enter information in a file. The VI editor having two modes. What are those? Two modes. What are those? One is insert mode. Another one is command mode. One is command mode. If you want to go to insert mode, there is a I symbol you have to press. If you want to go to insert mode, command mode, you have to press escape. Okay. If you see, currently you have a file Pratiksha. There is no information in that. I want to enter some data. I want to go to Pratiksha file, VI Pratiksha. I'm inside the file. I'm inside the file. Okay. If you look at here, nothing. If I press I can go to insert mode. Now I'm insert mode. I can enter some data. This is AWS and batch. Okay. So if I want to save this, I can use escape. If I want to go to insert mode again, I can go I. If I press I, you can see this. If I press escape, I'm going to press escape. If you see that, it will be changed. It changed. If you press I, you can change it. How to save this? Press escape. Use colon. Press colon. W plus press W here. Okay. And Q. Right. Q. Exclamation. Right. So if you want to save that, you need to press this button right after pressing escape. How to save your file? Escape, and then right, save and quit, right? So and then use colon WQ exclamation. The W means writing the changes. W means writing the changes. Writing. Q means quit. Okay, Q means quit. Okay, Q means quit. Okay, we'll call it right. If you press S enter, you can see it is saved and quit. If you see that file again, the date, right? So using VI editor, you can add information. You can add the information to the file. Okay, there are two modes: insert mode, command mode. You can use press I to go to insert mode. You can use ESC to go to command mode. Right? Just note this. Just note down this commands. I will give some 5 minutes. Just note down. Right? So if you want to know first 10 lines of a file, you can use head. If you want to know last 10 lines of a file, use tile. If you want to see more information, you can use, right? For example, tile, uh, right? Tile, you can use file name, last 10 lines. First 10 lines, you can use head. Okay. And if you want to see more information, more, 57%, right? 60%. If you want to see less information, less, right? Sure, right? You can see slow. If you want to quit, use Q. So let's understand users and groups. Okay, users and groups. So why users? Right? What is the use of the users in Linux? If you have a file, I want that file. There are two users. One is developer, another one is DevOps engineer. Okay, DevOps engineer. Okay, there is a developer, there is a DevOps engineer. So there is a file called Jenkins file. I want this Jenkins file to be accessible by DevOps engineer. Okay, we will not create multiple servers for each user. Okay, so we'll use only right server, that servers to be accessible by developer as a also DevOps engineer. The files to be also accessed within that, right? So based on the users. So how to do that? How to do that? So if you see, right? So how many users in your system? How to know that? Using a command cat /etc users file. That's easy. Or you can see pass wd file. Use cat etc pass wd. There is a user, EC2 user, and you can go to /home. Here you can see user related folders, EC2 user folder. Why? Because that EC2 user can upload his files. Okay. For example, if I want to add a user add is a command. Username is, for example, some uh, okay, Alex. Okay. So now if you see user is added, if you want to verify, etc passwd. Earlier Alex user is not there. Now Alex user is added, and also Alex related folder also created under home. This is Alex username, user ID, group ID, home directory, and a shell. Okay, and a shell. So I I can know that whether user is added or not using passwd file. I can add a user using user add username. If I want to delete a user, user del username. If I want to right add a user, I can use user add username, right? And if I want to provide a password to the user, passwd username. Okay, which file I can check whether user having password or not. There is a password, right, there is a file. Okay, shadow. Okay, if you want to verify, let me add another user add uh, Frank. Okay, right, Frank user you can see here, right? If you want to add a password to the user called Frank, if you want to verify whether password is there or not, /etc shadow file. No password for Alex and Frank, right? If you want to provide a password, passwd username. Set any password, right? Now password is added to Alex. Which file? Shadow file. You can see this is a encrypted password, right? Frank user not having any password. If you want to remove any user del username. If you want to verify, you can verify the files, right? So this is how you will add a user, you will delete a user, you will add a password. So similarly, if you want to add a group in Linux, group add is a command, group name. But which file you will check in the interviews? They will ask you which file you will check. Okay, /etc group name, right? And if you want to delete a user, group del group name. If you want to set a password for the user group, gpasswd group name. Okay, right? If you see here, right, just note down this. I will show how to create a group, how to add a user, how to add a user to the group also. Okay, so just note down. So yeah, let's see how to create a group, how to add a users into the group. So why groups? So for example, this is a file, and this is one user, okay, and this is another user, okay. So instead of giving one user's permissions to individually, we can create this user into a group, and we can directly give a group permission. If you have multiple files like this, right? So you can, right, right. If whenever new user is added, right, so you can simply add that user to a group, right? You can simply add a users to a group, right? So it will be save your time, and it is easily manage the permissions of the user, right? So right, so how to add a group? You can use which file, you can check /etc group file. Here you can see the groups, okay, and Alex group is right from user group. So right, whenever user is created, the user with that username group also created, okay. But how to specifically add a group? Group add, for example, DevOps group. Now if you see, DevOps group is created. This is DevOps group ID 1002, and there is no password set, okay. If you want to set a password for the group, okay, there is a file you can check, G shadow file. Let me add another group add, for example, some testing group add, okay. Now you can see testing group. How to set a password? G passwd testing. Set some password. Now if you see, right, G passwd, G shadow file. Testing user, I set a password. DevOps user, empty, no password, right? If you want to delete any group, you can use group del some DevOps. Now if you see cat file name, right? So using group add group name, you can add a group. Using group del, you can delete a group. Using gpasswd, you can delete a set a password to the group. So which file you will check? G shadow file, right? So for example, if you want to add a user, you can use user mod, okay, user mod. If you want to add a user to the group, -a -g group name. For example, I want to add a user to the group called uh, Alex user, okay. To which group I want to add? I need to add it to some testing group, okay. So if you want to add it, you can add. Now if you want to verify, you can verify Alex user. Earlier, nothing, right? Nothing. Now, Alex. If you want to remove this user, you can use gpasswd -delete Alex user from testing group. Is removed, right? If you want to verify, you can verify again. Is removed, right? So you can add a user, you can delete a user, right? Like this. So can you note down the last two commands? Okay. So that's about it today. Okay. So I will, okay, I will discuss the next things. the next one. So you right, we have to discuss these topics. Okay, we'll discuss later. Okay, thank you. First of all, so let's see how to create a Linux server in AWS. Then we can discuss about some Linux concepts. Okay, so if you want to learn Linux, we need a server, right? So how to create in AWS? Let me launch instance. So I want to create a Linux server. Number of servers are one. I want to create only one server. So AMI, this is your OS, right? So I want to create a Amazon Linux server. This is instance type, nothing but your RAM, 1 GB RAM. Okay, we are eligible for 1 GB RAM. It's a free account, guys. Free account, right? Right, right. And the key pair. What is the key pair? It's a password. Okay, it's a password. Okay, let me create a new password. Testing. Create it. And it's a Linux server. You should allow 22 port SSH port to connect to the server. Okay, it's a security. It's a security for that. Okay, so it's a Linux server. Okay, you have to open 22 port. Okay, it's a Linux server called SSH, means secure shell. Secure shell port. Okay, and right, it's a 8 GB storage. Okay, it's a storage. Okay, let me launch this. Right, it's getting launched. Let's wait. It's in currently pending state. So once it's come to running state, we can connect to it. How to connect? Just select your Linux server, click on connect. If you want to stop it, you have an instance state option. You can stop it. If you want to terminate, if you want to reboot, you have the option. Let me connect to it. Let me click on connect. Okay, I can go with the instance connectivity. This is the IP address, public IP. So public IP means we can connect from, okay, connect from that, okay, from outside. So we have a private IP. The private IP is for internal purpose. Okay, so this is okay, right? Okay, this is uh, username, and this is, you can click on connect. Okay, so I'm in Linux server. This is the Linux server initial message, right? Welcome message, and this is the EC2 iPhone user. Okay, so is the username. This is the DNS. If you want to become the root user, because root user is a full, right, admin user in Linux will have a full permission. You can use sudo su switching user. Su means switching user do as super user. The normal users in Linux having hash. If you want to switch to particular right, so root user, you can use s. Let me click on enter. If you want to add a new user, if you want to add a new user in Linux, you can use user add. For example, username. Okay, user name. Okay. So for example, user add. I want to add a test user. User is added. If you want to currently in the root user, how to know that? Who am I? Right? Right? Root user. If you want to switch to root user, right? If you want to switch to test user, su is a command. Su test user. Su test is a user, right? So user add username, right? For adding a user. If you want to switch to a particular user, su switch user. Okay. So right. So su. DOS, should I assume is switching user as a super user. If you want to add a particular user, user add username, for example, test. If you want to switch to test user, SU test. If you want to know which user you are, who am I, right? You can see. Now I switch it to test user. You can, if you observe that, right? If you want to know who am I, is also okay. Anyway, let me exit from a test user. Let me become the root user. This is fine, right? This is fine. So what I can do, right? Yeah. So I will start the topics which are pending in our list, right? So one is permissions we have to discuss. Another one is packaging in Linux, how to install software. Some networking commands, right? These are the items we have to discuss. So yesterday, what we have discussed? Yesterday we discussed about files and permissions. You files and sorry folders, users, and we have discussed about users and groups. Okay, so yeah, we can discuss that. So we have a Linux material, guys. So let me provide a link with you. Okay, you can click on that link and one second and ask for a access. Let me go for a drive. Right. Here is the Linux material. Let me share the URL with you. Please click on access. Copy the link. So please try to hit on this and ask for a access. Okay. One second. Yeah. Just ask for a access. I will provide it to you. Okay. Yeah. Please note down these commands. Meanwhile, we can start the session in, right? We can start the permissions, packaging. Just note down. Okay. So let's start the session. Okay. So permissions.
Permissions. So in Linux, okay, in Linux, so we have different files, right? So how to manage the permission? For example, there are two users. I want one user to view the information. I want another user to edit the information in the file. In the file. So how to do that? So for example, let me add a file. Currently there are no file. Let me add user add. Sorry, let me add a file. Sorry. So let me add a file. Touch abc dot txt. Okay, there is an empty file. If you want to see that, you can see which user created this file. Root user. Root user created the file. Which group can access this file? Root group. Okay, root group. So let me add one group user. Let me add user called I can say developer one. Okay, and I will add a group called group add some DevOps group. Okay, group add some DevOps group. So this is the file. This can be accessible by DevOps group, right? I want to make that. Okay, currently root user. How to change that, and what permission this root user can have that to edit this file, right? Let's see. Let me copy this, right? So yes, here. So in Linux, there are basically three types of permissions. Okay, this is the first hyphen will denotes file or folder. If it is hyphen, it's a file. If it is D, it's a folder. Okay, in Linux. So anyway, and after that, these nine are permissions. Okay, and this is inode number, which is identification purpose at server level. So this is root, which user created this. Okay, which user created this file? User, and this is group. So this is so here you can observe R means read, W means write. Okay, and hyphen means execute. Permission literally, but currently there is nothing here. No permission. Hyphen means no permission. Okay, so and if you observe, this is read. Hyphen means no permission. Hyphen means no permission. This is read. Hyphen means no permission. Hyphen means no permission. So I would say this is Warner. Who created the file? Warner created permission. That means Warner can read and write. Who is the Warner? Root. Root created it, right? Which, right? What? Okay, right? What? Okay. That means Warner can read and write. Okay. R means read. You can say R means read. R means four letter, four right digit. Write. W means write, and write related digit is two. X means execute. The digit will denotes like one. Okay. So Warner can read and write. This is group. Okay. This is group. Group can read it. This is related to others in the system, other users, other groups. Okay, can read it. Okay, can read it. So right. So let me right. So this is one. This is groups in the system. This is other users. Okay. So see, R means they can read it. Okay. So just note down. We'll see how to change the permissions. Just note down. Warner can write. Warner can read and write. For example, we have this file. So is Warner ABC. So let me go to ABC file. Okay, this is edited by edited by root user. Right? He's the Warner. How to save this? Colon W means writing the changes. Q means quit. It's right. Exclamation is the confirmation. Now if you see cat abc, you can see that. Now let me switch su as a dev user vi. Let me open the abc.txt file. Okay, so okay, let me do one thing. Let me exit. Let me switch this file because it's ect-user home directory. Okay, let me switch this abc.txt file to, I want to switch this to opt that can be accessed by any user. Okay, now let me go to abc. Let me switch as a dev user. Now let me see that file. Let me go to opt. Okay, he can see that which user I am, dev1, right? Dev1 can see the file. Okay, so now if I want to read it, I can read it. If you say I can see the information, but if I go to abc.txt file, I click on enter, can I edit this? You can see here, read only. If I want to try to edit this, but I can see a warning, changing a reading file, read only file, right? You don't have the permission. Okay, so but for example, so right, I am a root user now. For example, I want to change the warner from root to dev. How to change it? Or right, or we have another option. So what is the option? We can change the permission of the other users in the system. How to change it? So you have to follow a command guide, chmod chmod. So if you want to give full permission, 4 plus 2 plus 1 7. Okay, 7. If you want to give read permission only, you can make it 4. And if you want to give read plus write, 6. 6. Okay, 6. So and you have to provide the file name. What is the file name? abc.txt. Right. So here 7 means you are combining 4 plus 2 plus 1. So you are giving 7 at Warner level, oh, group level 4, other users 6. Right. This is Warner. Okay, this is others. Right. So similarly, if you want to give full permission to all the users, all the owner groups, others, everyone, 777. Okay, if you want to see, for example, I want other user like dev1 to access my abc.txt file. So how I can do that? Chmod owner I want to give read and write 6, other users read only, and other right right group other users in the system, I want to give it 6 abc.txt. Now, if you switch, if you want to verify, you can verify. You can see read write, read and read write. But earlier it is different. Now, if I switch to abc dev1 user, if I want to edit that file, okay. So what I did, but I edited in not in opt location. Let me go to opt. Opt. Yeah. Now, so let me change it again one. Right. This is the different one. Yeah. So now it is okay. Let's switch it as a dev1. Now, if you edit it, dev1 abc.txt file. Earlier you are saying read only. Now here there is nothing, right? So you can do that. You can do that. So I provided the access for the material. Okay, for Linux material. So please try to access it now. Yeah. So this is how you will do the right editing the files, editing the users, right, providing the permissions. If you want to change the owner of the file, ch1 owner name is, for example, dev1 and text. If you want to change the group, chgrp group name, for example, DEVOPS abc.txt. If you want to see that, you can see Let me become the root user. Here, Warner is root. How to change it? Ch1. I want to change it to dev1 to of the abc.txt file. I want to change the group also. Say grp. The group is DevOps of the abc.txt. Now we can see changed. Earlier is different, right? So just note down these commands, guys. Just note down permission commands. Just note down, guys. Okay, thank you. So right, we changed the one, we changed the group. Okay, so let me go back. So this is about you right permissions in the Linux. So if you want to install something, how to install? So in Windows, we have the file. You can open it, click on next, install. You will install it. But coming to Linux, how to install it? How to install it? So if you want to install it, anything in Linux, okay, in Linux, if you want to install anything, okay, so you have some package editors. We have different flavors, right? We have Red Hat, right? We have CentOS, we have Amazon Linux, okay, and we have Ubuntu, okay. So these are Red Hat based category, okay, Red Hat based category, and this is Debian based category, Debian based. So Ubuntu is part of Debian based category. Red Hat, CentOS, Amazon Linux is part of this Red Hat based category. Okay, so the right, so the Ubuntu, right, so the Ubuntu, right, is using one package manager, guys, called apt, and these three is using one category, this one package manager called yum. Okay, yum. So and also there is one more, they are using apt and dkpg, and they are also using one more thing called rp. So these are also categorized into two. low level, high level. Okay, low and high. So low level is RPM, high level is, yeah, high level is, okay. This is DKPG. This is low level, and this is APT is high level. Okay, high. Okay. So yeah. So here RPM is nothing but Red Hat Package Manager. Red Hat Package Manager, and M means yellow update modifier. Yellow update. Yeah, these are the interview questions we can get in interview. Modifier. And DKPG means a Debian based package. Debian based package. APT is nothing but advanced packaging system. Okay. So what is low level? What is high level? So for example, if you have two softwares, if you want to install one, for example, let me make it as Java and Jenkins. If you want to install Jenkins, you need to install Java. You need to install Java. Okay. Or for example, Maven. If you install Maven, you need to install Java first. Okay. So if you are using the low level tools, you need to run two commands. Low level, like this, yeah, right? RPM, DKPG, right? So low level means you need to run two commands for Java one command, Maven one command. But high level tools not like that. So high level tools will resolve the dependencies. That means will high levels are resolve the dependency. Dependency is Maven, right? High level are will resolve the dependency. Dependence. So, for example, if you install Maven, Java is automatically installed. You don't need to run. You don't need to run multiple commands. For example, if you see, let me check the Maven version, MVN icon version. Nothing. So if you want to install the command, right, softwares in the organizations, we will use high level because it will resolve the dependencies, M or APT. If it is Ubuntu, we'll use APT. If it is Red Hat based, we'll use M. Okay, right? So for example, so let me take this, uh, right, high level. If you want to install software, M install. Which OS I have taken? Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux means M, right? How to verify which OS you have running? Cat, you can see one file, OS icon. You are using Amazon Linux. Okay, so right, yum install, yum install. So you have to install it. The package called map. You can run that command yum install map. You can see, you can see here, right? You want to install Maven. The version is 1.3.8. But what is the dependency? Java and other softwares. You can see Java is getting installed automatically. You're not installing. This is separately, right? This is not separately. This is part of the Maven. It is resolve the dependencies. Yum will help you resolve it. If you want to say yes, you can say Y. If you want to say N, you can say N. If you'll say N, that means no. If you want to install it, you can directly mention hyphen Y. Hyphen Y means it will not wait for you to say yes, it will install it. Okay? It will not wait for you to make it. So right, you can see it is getting installed. Dependencies are getting installed. So what is the command? M install maven -y. Yes, if you want to remove that, M remove maven -y, right? So if you want to use apt for Ubuntu, if you take an Ubuntu operating system, same apt install maven. If you want to remove it, apt remove. So today I have installed 1.3 version of Maven. Tomorrow they release 1.5. How to update it? You have a command, guys. So update command is that em update Maven. Okay, like that. If you want to update all the softwares in the system, em update. That's it. No need to mention any software. For example, if you see Maven is installed, let me verify. Earlier is nothing, now Maven is installed. If you want to remove Maven, em remove Maven. I think. Right. So the dependencies are also getting installed. Okay. Uninstalled. Okay. Same. If you want to update it in M, just make it M apt here. Okay. Right. So these are the commands you will use if you want to list down all the installed softwares in your. For example, if you want to update M update, nothing to do that. Everything is updated. So if you want to verify Maven, nothing because we removed. Right. If you want to see all the installed servers, softwares in your system, M list installed. These are all the softwares installed in your system. Okay, you can use M list installed. Okay, right. Just note down. Thank you. Just note down.